Hi, my name is Ayah Abdulsalam. I'm 18 years old and I'll be telling you about how one voice changed me into the person that I am today. I came into Blackburn in September 2014. I had lived in UAE pretty much my entire life and I had left and come to Blackburn as an asylum seeker, obviously going through the entire asylum seeking process. The process was very daunting and very difficult, if I'm being very honest, but a lot has happened since then. I didn't really go to primary school in here. I kind of just jumped straight into high school, started year 7, and hopefully this year I'll be going to university to study medicine. So yeah, it's been quite a long journey, especially having gone through high school and college as well. When I first came to Blackburn, it was quite a shock because the biggest difference in my opinion was the culture and the language. Because I come from the UAE, so I mainly spoke Arabic. Obviously my culture, everybody spoke Arabic, and my English was kind of limited. I only really spoke English because it was in my education and in my curriculum at school as well. So I never really spoke English outside of lessons. I mean, I had Arab friends. I wouldn't really speak English with them. I kind of spoke Arabic with them a lot of the time. I was around Arab people as well, so that Arabic influence was around me because UAE is kind of Arab dominant. So again, when I came here, it was quite a big shock because there's quite a lot of Asians. And at first I was thinking there wasn't that many Asians back in the UAE. They weren't really that common. But when I came in, they were very welcoming and they were very lovely. And the issue with that was a lot of them spoke Urdu, Punjabi or Gujarati. And I'm here thinking, does anybody here speak Arabic? And I kind of came to the realization that no one really spoke Arabic in here. So I was like, oh, now I need to learn English to try and make my experience in the UK just slightly better, especially with communicating. I also needed to meet like young people, especially because I didn't really have anyone apart from my family. So someone actually recommended to me that I join One Voice Blackburn, and soon enough I became a One Voice member and I joined the girls group called Western Girls in summer 2017.
One Voice began 10 years ago when a group of like-minded individuals and professionals from the local community came together to look at some of the issues that affect young people, women and the wider community within Blackburn Darwen. Since that first meeting 10 years ago, One Voice has progressed significantly. The number of young people and members of the community that we reach out to is fantastic. We've grown each and every year, and the range of services that we offer and the support that we provide to the local community has increased year on year. I am proud as chairman of One Voice of the progress that the organisation has made over the last 10 years, and I hope that we go from strength to strength.
As a member of WEGS and One Voice, it did mean that we took part in a whole host of activities, from litter picking to drama and even empowerment activities as well. We also held summer clubs, careers fairs, health awareness programs, and of course we went on some amazing trips. WEGS has really improved me as a person and I have met some fantastic people. I hosted an event on Women's Vote. I arranged a careers fair and a science event, but my biggest highlight was probably hosting the annual dinner in 2019 in front of 250 people at only the age of 15 as well. It was a very exciting opportunity, and in that moment I realised that I wasn't really the same person that first came into England in 2014.
Blackburn is a very aspirational town, particularly among the young people. The best 2 state schools in the country are based in Blackburn, and that is something we're very proud of, actually. When I was growing up in Blackburn, there wasn't a huge amount of aspiration. People needed to survive, they needed to do well, but the aspirational level among some of the communities wasn't there, and many other people didn't have high regard for some people, but you know, many of us made it, many of us managed to achieve things despite that lack of aspiration in some communities. With One Voice Blackburn, when I joined the organisation, I realised that in our communities there's a heck of a lot of aspiration now, and they want the youngsters to do well. They want the communities that are sidelined to improve their levels, basically. And one thing I noticed when I became part of One Voice Blackburn is that, yes, absolutely, there were health inequalities that are very, very stark, and that's something that we recognise that still exists. There was an issue with elements of leadership, and there were elements of issues in terms of giving females particularly an opportunity to thrive. But in amongst this, what was really clear to me is that this was a group of communities that really wanted to make their way. There was a lot of hope, there was a lot of aspiration in the communities. And for me, what became evident is that we needed to uplift these communities. We effectively needed to uplift these marginalised communities.
When One Voice Blackburn was first launched, I was a student at secondary school. I heard a lot about the group's attempt to ensure young females from our community were given a real voice. I later joined the organisation myself once I finished university. I started off as a sports participant, then went on to become a sports coach, and now I'm the sports and marketing lead. For me, One Voice thrives in giving individuals the opportunity to thrive, especially those who are a little shy, reserved, quiet, and essentially not confident. One Voice empowers from all levels. Our work in girls' sports is recognised nationally. It's not about creating the next England netballers. It's more about giving young females from our community the opportunity to participate in sport and stay active whilst providing them with a safe environment. Currently, our girls are engaged in around half a dozen sports, including futsal, cricket and rounders.
When you support the development of a child, or when you support the development of a marginalised female, or if you challenge the status quo of your community, that's an amazing feeling, because in many ways you are not only supporting a young person, a young female, or elements of the communities, you are changing the lives of their families, of the whole community in some cases, and that's an amazing feeling, and that's an amazing achievement in many ways in terms of what we try to do here at One Voice Blackburn.
One Voice has a lot of younger members. However, we also work with older members of our community, sometimes those who are from the more socially isolated areas. And we have run on netball sessions for a number of years now. However, we continue to ask young males and females onto how to get our community more active. Our success is built around asking our community what they want and regular contact with our community. We ask them what they want and then we aim to deliver. If something isn't working, we go back to the drawing board and ask them how we can essentially improve our services. One Voice is a membership-based organisation, but it's an all-inclusive membership. We welcome everyone. I'd like to think that I personally welcome everyone and new members just the way I was welcomed all those years ago.
As Chairman of One Voice, I am proud of all the achievements that One Voice has had over the last 10 years. From our Scouts group, which serves 100 young people on a weekly basis, to our sports clubs for cricket and netball, and to the various services and support mechanisms that we've developed for females within the organisation. I hope that One Voice goes from strength to strength, and with the team, both from a delivery and a governance perspective that we've got now in place, I'm sure that will continue to happen. We want to continue to have positive impact on young people and members of the community, and it's an honour and a privilege to serve the local community, to ensure that we will be here as an organisation for many, many years to come.
If someone ever really asked me whether they should think about joining One Voice, I'd just tell them to do it, because I 100% recommend it. Because I just tell them, you know, experiences like joining One Voice helps prepare you for the real world, because it teaches you all that you need. I mean, it certainly did with me. When I first got my part-time job, it was after I joined One Voice, so by that time I'd learned a few skills that helped me improve as a person. So when I did a few shifts, I was thinking, I've already done this before at One Voice, so this was like second nature to me now. And it's like now at this point I'd utilize my job, my part-time job, as another way to further improve myself. But I wouldn't have been that experience wouldn't have been easy for me if I hadn't joined One Voice in the first place. Over the last year, I have been getting paid work by One Voice Blackburn. I have created and developed programs for young people based on my own learnings. I have supported the summer club and I have mentored other young people. And it's basically like I've been given this opportunity to basically take what I've learned from One Voice and try and help the next generation of One Voice members so that hopefully they kind of get the same outcome as me.
When we first started as an organisation, or when I first started in the organisation, we had a bit of a motto. It was either give us your time or give us your money to support the organisation. And actually giving the money was the easy bit. Giving the time was really, really tough. And what really helped us in the early years certainly is because we relied on a lot of intelligence of people who can do the accounts for us, the intelligence people who can do the administration work for us, to people who can do our governance, for example, and the people who then could just support and develop the programs that we began at One Voice Blackburn and continue to do to this day. And what was really uplifting for me was that many of these people gave up their time as volunteers, and that's one of the reasons that back in 2018 we won the Queen's Award for Voluntary Services, and that is something that, you know, we're really, really proud of. And we still go to that mantra of speaking to the people and saying, what can you do for our community? What is it that you can actually help and support in your community? And when we sell that dream, when we sell that ambition to people, a lot of them are willing to do that. And we have many, many volunteers, dozens of volunteers who've supported the organisation over the 10 years. And I'm particularly proud of their involvement in terms of changing the community. I suppose the next challenge for us is succession planning. And we often say to our young people, we're not going to do this forever. We want you to take over this organisation at some point. And wouldn't it be great if some of these young people then came back, who we've helped to support and develop, that they come back and then they can do it with other young people. Now that will be a legacy to be really proud of.
One Voice has provided me so much help and support in the last 7 years, and I am so incredibly thankful for them. Without them, I don't even think I'd get to this point today. I kind of see them as the organisation that helped molded me into the person that I am today. I mean, if you compare me from 2014 and compare me now, you probably think I was two different people. Hopefully a few years down the line, I'd want to come back to Blackburn and give back to the community. One Voice Blackburn and the community has given so much for me, and I would like to give something back, maybe even running the organisation. But yeah, that was really what One Voice really taught me, and that is to think big.